Hi, everyone. This is Lawrence Watkins, and welcome to the Financial Juneteenth 5. These are my 5 favorite articles as it relates to Black finance, wealth, and business for today, November 2nd, 2020. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first article today comes from USA Today, and the title states Fair housing groups sue Redfin with allegations of redlining minority communities. Several fair housing organizations accused Redfin of systematic racial discrimination in a lawsuit Thursday, saying the online real estate broker offers fewer services to home buyers and sellers in minority communities, a type of digital redlining that has depressed home values and exacerbated historic injustice in the housing market. In the complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in Seattle, the organization said that that during a 2-year investigation, they documented the effect of Redfin's minimum price policy, which requires homes to be listed for a certain prices to reap the benefits of Redfin's services. The company was vastly less likely to offer realtor services, professional photos, virtual tours, online promotion, or commission rebates for homes listed in overwhelmingly minority neighborhoods than it was in overwhelmingly white ones, the investigation found. Redfin's policies and practices operate as a discriminatory stranglehold on the communities of color, often the very communities that have been battered by a century of residential segregation, systemic racism, and disinvestment, the lawsuit said. Now, in Redfin's defense, CEO Glenn Kelman said that, or insisted that the company had not violated the Federal Housing Act, which clearly supports a business decision to set the customers in areas it serves based on legitimate business reasons such as price. So later on, he has another quote here, the CEO Kelman. Our long-term commitment is to serve every person seeking a home in every community profitably. The challenge is that we don't know how to sell the lowest priced homes while paying our agents and other staff a living wage with health insurance and other benefits. This is why Redfin agents aren't always in low priced neighborhoods. So basically, the law or Kelman stating it's just not profitable to operate in those areas. So we're not going to lose money by trying to service an area that really doesn't have very much potential for growth for our underlying businesses. The lawsuit also alleged that Redfin sometimes failed to provide services even when a home's price topped the minimum. That was much more common in predominantly minority neighborhoods, including Chicago South Side, the organization said. It gave some stats to support this from many different cities. So Chicago, I see one from Kansas City. I think I saw Louisville, Kentucky here a little earlier as well. Baltimore, Baltimore too. Lisa Rice also chimed in. She's the president and CEO of the National Fair Housing Alliance. So in the article, she states, we have decades and decades and decades of discriminatory practices in the real estate field, she said. Real estate agents are some of the most well-trained professionals in the industry. They know what redlining is. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this lawsuit progresses. It's good to see that there are people supporting African Americans and other ethnic minorities within the court system. And hopefully this lawsuit has a positive result to get Redfin to change its policies. The next article is actually on the opposite side of the political spectrum. So Redfin was there because it wanted to help the African American community and other minority communities as it relates to housing discrimination. This article is from TechCrunch, and it was posted on Friday. Uber Eats faces discrimination allegations over free delivery from Black-owned restaurants. Uber says it has received more than 8,500 demands for arbitration as a result of it ditching delivery fees for some Black-owned restaurants via Uber Eats. Uber Eats said it wanted to make it easier for customers to support Black-owned businesses in the United States and Canada. To qualify, the restaurant must be a small or medium-sized business and therefore not part of a franchise. In contrast, delivery fees are still in place for other restaurants. In one of these claims of the 8500, viewed by TechCrunch, a customer alleges Uber Eats violates the UNRUC Civil Rights Act by charging discriminatory delivery fees based on race of the business owner. That claim seeks $12,000 in damages. Megan Cashley of Uber, she's the spokesperson for Uber. She has a quote that says, "We're proud to support Black-owned businesses with this initiative. As we know, they've disproportionately been impacted by the health crisis. We heard loud and clear from consumers this was a feature they wanted and will continue to make it a priority." To close out the article, it's worth also noting that the representative for the customer listed in the complaint that I showed above is Consovoy McCarthy, whose partners include President Donald Trump lawyer William Konosovoy. I think that's how you say it, Konosovoy. I don't know, and others as well. So this seems to be a indirect attempt by Trump and the Trump administration to attack anything like this that is helping and supporting Black-owned businesses from corporate America. So let's be on the lookout to see how this lawsuit progresses as well. This article came from TechCrunch, and it was released on Friday. The next article, it really is a press release, is from American Express. It states, American Express announces $1 billion action plan to promote racial, ethnic, and gender equity for colleagues, customers, and communities. So at the beginning, it gives some of the recommendations and things that they're going to be doing. So achieve 100% pay equity for colleagues globally, sets goal to double spending with diverse suppliers and expand access to capital for minority-owned businesses, commits to enhancing diverse representation and equal opportunity at all levels across the company, increases funding and resources allocated to community organizations advancing racial equality and social justice. So the plan includes a series of internal and external initiatives, commitments, and resources supported by $1 billion in investments toward enhancing diverse representation and equal opportunities for its colleagues, customers, and communities. I was going to read this quote from the CEO, but the CEO is, of course, very proud of what they're doing, and they want to have continue their longstanding commitment to fostering an inclusive and welcoming workplace that reflects the diversity of the customers and communities that they serve. There's a similar statement by the VP of the Office of Enterprise Inclusion, Diversity, and Business Engagement as well. But for those wanting to know the tangible things that will be coming out of this initiative, so I mentioned the 100% pay equity. That's a gender thing. And also, I guess, a race thing as well. Enhancing colleague representation, so increasing the number of Black, African Americans, and Latinx people across the company. For the business owners, here's something to really look into. Double spend with diverse suppliers, expand access to capital and financial education, and also evolve its product experiences, marketing, and also services as well. And then they have some philanthropic things that they actually want to do as a part of this initiative also. So great news from American Express. So we thank them for their support, and it's good to see more and more companies putting their money where their collective mouths are and their press releases are as well. The next article comes from the Wall Street Journal, and it states, the headline states, law firm clients demand more Black attorneys. Microsoft, Uber, and US Bancorp are among the companies urging law firms to enlist diverse legal teams. So law firms have spent years promising to hire and promote more Black lawyers. Their corporate clients are now pressuring them to show their results. So companies like Microsoft, Bancorp, US Bancorp, Uber, Intel, and others are asking the law firms they hire to detail how many diverse lawyers they employ and whether those lawyers are assigned to meaningful work. Firms that don't have a good answer might lose out on bonuses or not get hired at all. I didn't highlight this, but I think this is interesting. What gets done gets rewarded, says Shannon Klinger. She's the chief legal officer at Novartis, which is a pharmaceutical company, and they withhold 15% of legal fees if the diversity benchmarks aren't met. Client demand swelled this year, driven by the national debate around or about race and equity. Lightning struck, said Joel Stern, who leads an association of minority and women-owned law firms. People are calling up saying, show me the black lawyers, show me the black firms. About 2%, this is an interesting stat, about 2% of partners at US law firms and less than 5% of attorneys in the lower ranks are black. Figures that have barely budged for decades, according to the National Association for Law Placement. Also, black students make up 8% of total enrollment, but they're also more likely to attend lower ranked schools compared to the more prestigious law schools that are out there. Duval Thompson, a partner at Holland and Knight, which is a huge law firm, he says, you'll see the same associate staffed on all great cases and think, why am I not getting these same or those same opportunities? The consistent challenge is attempting to rise through the ranks based on knowledge, experience, and ability, rather than being minimized, diminished, or judged based on the color of our skin. There's one last quote that I wanted to share in here. Let me see. I think that was it. So yeah, there's one last quote from Miss Marsh. So they're talking about Lakeisha Marsh at Ackerman LLP. Many companies don't want to take the risk of hiring people they have never worked with before, Ms. Marsh said, which limits opportunities for up-and-coming lawyers of color. You won't know what you're comfortable with unless you step out and try something different. Yeah, that's the end of the conversation. Actually, no, there was. We should be the first, not last. Yeah, I think that was the last main quote that I wanted to share in this article. But please read this in the Wall Street Journal. If you work in corporate America, these are some of the things that you can advocate for if you work and you have, I guess, a powerful position at these corporations, because people listen to the dollars, and having these bonuses removed from companies that don't hit certain targets, I think it's a good way to put pressure via corporate America as well. The last article, I'm not going to go that deep into, but it's from sourcingjournal.com. And it's a journal basically for like fabrics and materials and supply chains and products and those types of things. But basically where sourcing actually comes from. Footwear experts weigh in. Can the industry kick its diversity problem? I'm not sure if they're trying to make a pun there or not in terms of kicking its diversity problem. But anyway, the Sourcing Journal, and it's less about what I've been seeing specifically about this article. The article basically says, Black people aren't represented in sourcing at many of these major corporations. Things need to change, and things are actually changing. But I'm seeing this in a lot of this same type of article in a lot of different trade publications that are out there. This concept, industry by industry by industry, of the broader racial reckoning that's going on, that was sparked by the George Floyd murder in Minneapolis by the police officer. So yeah, I found this to be interesting. Across the 100 global brands and companies analyzed by the initiative, the Diversity List initiative that they talk about in this article, just 6 have presidents or CEOs of color, an industry-wide problem that Donaldson characterized in August as systemic. But it talks about just the heavy hitters, how although actually what I've noticed in terms of, they're talking in this article about Nike, Timberland, Foot Locker, and others, many of their companies in terms of board seats, as well as in terms of like employees, they actually align pretty well with how the general makeup of the United States is. The challenge I think this article brings up is, yeah, you might have 13 or 15% Black employees, but your customer base might be 70 or 80%, African American. So you should over-index on some of these things as well. But this is an interesting article if you really care about what's going on in the physical world in terms of how things are made, who is being made by, and shipped, and those types of things as well. But check this out. Check this article out in sourcingjournal.com today. So that's about it. Those are my 5 favorite articles as it relates to Black finance, wealth, and business for today, November 2nd, 2020. Let me know what you think about any of these articles. Also, let me know what you think about the segment in general. This is something that I think we're going to continue to do, but we always like to hear your comments and feedback regarding the content and the information delivery style of these types of videos. Before you get out of here, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. On behalf of Financial Juneteenth, on behalf of Financial Juneteenth, this is Lawrence Watkins. You take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye. Today's video is brought to you by the Black Business School. At the Black Business School, we don't help you just climb the corporate ladder, we help you build your own as well. We provide a culturally relevant yet practical education in all things wealth building at an affordable price. So no matter if you want additional freedom in your day-to-day life, you would like to leave a legacy of generational wealth behind to your family and friends, or you just want additional security and stability going into your golden years of retirement, the Black Business School has courses and offerings for you. So head over to theblackbusinessschool.com to learn more. Take care and see you in class soon. Bye-bye.